All right, welcome inside Port City Body Shop, everybody. Jacob Toby alongside former OSU Cowboy, my guy, Deion Imade. How you feeling, my man?
Man, I'm feeling good. I was kind of thinking about this earlier. How's your fantasy team doing?
My football fantasy team?
Yeah, football fantasy.
I am in third place right now.
Really?
Yes.
Second, myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. We're feeling ourselves right now.
Just
Top three.
Just a tad.
We have a shot at that championship.
Yeah.
We're taking it. You got the glasses on.
Yeah.
Love that look. Nicely done.
Put spectacles on today.
The spectacles, you feeling extra smart?
I feel a little, a tad bit,
All right.
higher IQ.
Okay. Well, let's make you a little bit more happy and start with OSU.
There you go.
They get a big win versus TCU last Saturday. Bowl eligible now for the 14th consecutive season. You, of course, were part of some bowl games. Do you think this is one of Gundy's better wins in his career?
There's a lot of wins in this Coach Gundy's era at Oklahoma State, but I would, kind of lean towards being one of the better wins, not because of, the style of play or what was done on the field, but the adversity that was off the field that his team had to deal with. And Coach Gundy, being a veteran, being a top-notch guy in this coaching profession, he did a smart thing on Wednesday when the incidences were taking place. One, Tylan Wallace was out. Number two, their starting center, Johnny Wilson, was out. And also starting safety, Trey Sterling, also goes down, all in the same practice. And he could tell during that practice that a lot of those guys didn't have that sense of urgency that they needed to go out and put on a strong practice to put on a strong performance on Saturday. So he got the team together in the middle of practice, sat them down, told them the situation, and told them, hey, this is life right now. This is not just about football. This is life. Adversity is going to hit. You have to bounce back, and they did that on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Gundy has a track record of being able to adjust in terms of what he's given for a roster. I think when Des Bryant was there and he got suspended or whatever it was, he adjusted that game plan, right? And was a little bit more conservative. He was obviously more conservative in this game with Spencer Sanders only throwing 15 passes, but we saw Chuba Hubbard just score that 90-yard touchdown run. This dude was otherworldly in this game. 223 total yards, his fourth game of 200-plus. He's had now 7 straight games of 100-plus or more. It's unbelievable, the numbers that he's put up. And I believe one of our questions early on in the show was that, can he win the Heisman? Well, he certainly may end up being in New York. I'm not sure if the resume will be there for a W just because of the wins in the season. But if he keeps putting up these stats, he will be in New York.
You can't keep him away from the conversation just because of the outings that he's having every Saturday. 200-yard performance. Think about this. This is a Gary Patterson team that is known for stopping the run. They're known for stopping offenses from running between the tackles. And Chuba Hubbard puts up one of the first 200-yard performances the first in Gary Patterson's era at TCU, which is a guy who's been there for, I want to say, it's definitely more than 10 years, and I want to say it's close to 15, maybe 20. So it's very impressive what this OSU team, because you got to put it together. It was a team effort to go out there and allow Chuba Hubbard to rush for 223 yards, and it was an impressive performance from the individual as well.
Yeah, and when you take a look at the defense, you mentioned Trey Sterling had to sit this game due to injury. He was an important piece in that Iowa State win. He got the third interception in the fourth quarter against Brock Purdy, but then the OSU defense steps up as well. Kobe Harvell-Peel.
Yes. 3
takeaways in this game, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. He played his best game. He said post-game that he had never, ever had a 3 takeaway game before that game. So he is playing extremely well right now. That's so important for them. Guys were stepping up in the defensive backfield, and no doubt the strength of this defense is the defensive backs.
And we knew that going into the season.
And that just proved it. These last 2 games proved it.
That definitely proved it. And the thing that really is helping this team, because you got to remember, it's been 7 turnovers in the last 2 games for this Oklahoma State defense, and it's coming from getting pressure on the quarterback. Last week versus Iowa State, you saw Brock Purdy throwing off his back foot a lot. This week, you saw Duncan very uncomfortable in the backfield. They were blitzing him and putting all kinds of pressure. Right there, you just saw Bernard take off, get another one of those interceptions that we're talking about. And Jim Knowles is doing a great job of dialing up this defense, putting quarterbacks in uncomfortable situations, and allowing his secondary to not have to cover for such a long period of time. We mentioned this, a young defensive line, but he's finding a way to get pressure in that backfield.
And I had asked you, could Oklahoma State build off the Iowa State win? Well, they're on the track to doing that. They are certainly on track to, after getting an upset win versus number 23 Iowa State, a big win versus TCU in which they beat Texas the week before, they are building a nice little run here to continue on to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly have momentum right now, and it's very important that this team rest up during this bye week, get healthy. We still mentioned it earlier. They got 3 guys, out. 2 of those players have likelihood of coming back and playing the rest of the season. So it's very important that they get healthy, but continue with this momentum. Don't let it slow down during the bye week. Stay focused, stay honed in, and continue to go forward, because it's going to be a hungry Kansas team that comes to Stillwater next weekend.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. Spencer Sanders, Newcomer of the Week. Harvell Peel, Defensive Player of the Week. So the Cowboys just
clean up those Big 12
cleaning up the awards,
week's awards
for sure, and very much deserved. And we can talk about Chuba all day, but just the biggest news, I believe it was on Thursday, that Wallace, there were rumors of him and maybe a torn ACL, and it was a Twitter rumor for 24 hours or so until it was game day and it was confirmed. Mike Gundy talked to the ESPN broadcast crew and said he'd miss the rest of the year. I texted you and I said, dude, this is not good. This is not good. He's an All-American guy. He's arguably the best wide receiver in college football, him or CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Drudy or some of the other guys that we've talked about on the show before. It stinks because you had maybe the best two-headed monster in college football, and now you don't have that. Now you're going to have to be a little bit more conservative. And we'll talk in a second about some of the guys that have to step up in Wallace's place. But what do you think just this means in general, the loss of such a strong wide receiver?
I mean, first of all, it affects you not only on the field, but in the locker room as well, because Tylan Wallace was definitely a player and a leader for this team, and they kind of followed his lead, being a top-notch player and a player that works the way he does off the field and during practices. He's definitely, no doubt about it,
Watch this stiff arm. Boom.
No doubt about it, a leader on this team, and they're going to miss him being on that field with them. But this team, like I said, is going to have to battle back through some adversity, and they did a good job and taking that first step Saturday, beating TCU without Tylan Wallace. But they're not done. The job's not done. The season's not done. They still have to continue. And like you said, other players are going to have to step up and take advantage of those opportunities that they're given now.
And Mike Gundy talked about it in his post-game interview. He said when he's at the office, he can deal with it. He's cool. He's a coach. He's just thinking about different packages, different substitutions they can make to make this work without Wallace. But when he goes home, he's devastated. He's heartbroken because he knows how much this dude means to this program, not obviously just on the field, but like you said, off the field. And it just really hurt him, and it hurt the team. It's just a weird day at practice on Wednesday, just because you have 3 guys, all, I believe, were non-contact situations, or at least 2 out of the 3 were non-contact situations, Wallace is being one of them. And Gundy said he was upstairs watching practice, and he came rushing down from the tower, and he had to hold on to the railing because he had no idea what was coming. And so he loses Wallace. One of the big guys that stepped up this week, Dylan Stoner, Jenks native. 3 receptions, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. Playing the Z position, Tylan's position, really well. He stepped up, and Spencer Sanders said post-game that when the question was asked, who's going to play Z, Stoner puffed up his chest and said, I'm going to play Z. And he proved he could do it.
Yeah, he certainly did, and that's a guy who took advantage of that. And I want to make that a point because everybody is saying this word where guys got to step up or guys got to, replace Tylan Wallace. There's nobody who can replace Tylan Wallace, okay? Guys are going to have to take advantage of the opportunity that's given to them now. These are not guys that are, slaps or that aren't, athletes in their own right. These are guys who are great players, or even not great, but good enough to be at this level. So the fact of the matter is they don't have to step up. They just have to take advantage of the opportunity that is given to them. Now that Tylan Wallace isn't in the huddle anymore, balls are going to go their way. Bray Johnson does a great job this Saturday. You just mentioned Stoner does a good job. You're going to see some more players. Jordan McRae is going to get more opportunities to touch the ball. These guys have to take advantage of the opportunity that's given to them. They don't have to step up. They don't have to, try too hard or do anything that they feel like Tylan Wallace would do. All they have to do is take advantage of the opportunity that's given to them.
One thing that may end up happening because of Tylan Wallace's loss, and who knows, it really depends on the game plan, who they play, how much Gundy trusts Spencer Sanders throwing the ball. Obviously, I mentioned 15 passing attempts last week. We may see Chuba Hubbard go back to the 30-plus carries like he did a couple games before. These past two games, 20 and 22 carries, so he hasn't needed to shoulder. Remember the 37, 39 carry load he had early on in the season? I don't know if we'll see that, but we might see lower mid 30s coming up if the game needs it.
Here's the thing. I don't know if we will.
Okay.
Because think about that TCU game. Tylan Wallace is out. Chuba Hubbard has all of, I want to say, 5 or 6 carries in the first half and has all of between 35 and 50 yards. I'm not sure exactly what the stats look like, but only 5 carries in the first half. It's the second half where he comes into the ball game. They give him, he has that long 64-yard run, and then he backs it up with a long 92-yard run, and then he manages to get 20 carries on the afternoon. That was a team that they were missing their star receiver. You would think they would give him the ball right off the back, but it wasn't the case. Here's how Sean Gleason and Mike Gundy saw it. Now they don't have to have a safety over the top on Tylan Wallace anymore. They can put that safety inside the box. Well, how do you nullify that extra defender in the box? We have an X factor. We have a running quarterback who can get it done with his legs.
He was running.
And when you add the running quarterback, you allow the running back to be a blocker, and that nullifies the extra defender in the box. And with that being the case, you saw the reason why you only had 15 or 16 passing attempts from Spencer Sanders.
True, but I will say this. Wasn't it tied 17 at half?
It certainly was.
So one could argue that, run Chuba more in the first half, and then maybe you wouldn't be tied at 17 with TCU. But TCU's a good team, so that's the counter to my counter to yours, to your point.
And that's very understandable. But also, when you have a hot hand like Stoner, he got all 93 of those yards in the first half.
Okay. Yeah,
so this is a guy who stepped up and made some plays, and so they didn't have to go to Chuba Hubbard. They made some big plays on the outside, so you didn't need to give the 30 carries to Chuba.
Kind of two just different offensive halves, coupled with the defensive performance they did. So maybe they can live and survive off splitting it up. If Chuba's hot in the first half, Stoner's hot in the second half, or some of the other wide receivers that you mentioned, maybe they can do that and see how that plays out.
That's true, but honestly, what's going to need to happen, though, is this offense is going to need to string together some more drives, because the fact of the matter is 88 plays on defense for the OSU Cowboys, 53 on offense. That number, it's too big of a difference, and they're going to have to fix that if they're going to want to see more success going throughout the season.
As a former player, how's that bye week feeling?
Oh, man, after a win, it feels great. It feels great after a win. After a loss, we saw how that kind of took place. It's harder practices, longer days, but after a win, it's nice to relax and chill and hang out with the guys.
There you go. OSU on the bye week. When we come back, we'll talk OU and TU. OU coming off their bye week, and TU coming off yet another loss. We'll discuss that next, coming up here on the End Zone.
Hi, we're Bravado Wireless. You may have seen us at your local events and wondered just exactly what we do. We provide the highest quality cell phone service, specializing in outstanding coverage, both locally and nationwide. We're headquartered right here in Oklahoma, with multiple store locations in eastern Oklahoma. We provide the most affordable, unlimited talk, text, and data plans available. For a limited time, our unlimited plan is only $40 a month, and you can receive a free LG K30. Make sure you stop in now and enjoy our other amazing summer deals before they end. Visit Bravado Wireless store locations for all other details, or go to bravadowireless.com for more information. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
He's Deion Imade. I'm Jacob Toby. This is the End Zone, brought to you by Bravado Wireless here at Port City Body Shop. Let's talk some Sooner football here. They're coming off their bye week. They got Iowa State coming to Norman. Finally, it's not an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah, certainly is not. 7 p.m. this time. Prime time. It should be a good atmosphere over there at the Norman Stadium.
Yeah, I think people in Norman are very happy that they don't have that 11 a.m. kickoff, because I think they've had, 5 or 6 straight? So
yeah.
No bueno.
Waking up that early to get it kickstarted. Not
exactly. I ask you, what do we expect from this game? Of course, like I just said, the Sooners, before that bye week, tough loss to K-State. They get upset there. And then Iowa State, of course, coming off a loss. So what do you see?
Honestly, I think everybody's going to be focused on that defense, and if they're able to bounce back and have the kind of performances that they had versus before they faced K-State over there in Manhattan. It's going to be interesting to see if this defense can handle that firepower that Iowa State does have over there, because these aren't guys, the old Iowa State, what we're used to seeing. This is a Campbell team that is strong, and they play very tough, aggressive, and they're smart, and they don't beat themselves. If this OU defense has trouble covering the tight ends and man-to-man coverage, and has a tough time of getting Bryce Hall, the freshman running back, down on the turf, it could be a long day for the Sooners.
I think, you know what I want to think? You know what I think?
What do you want to think?
What I think and what I want to think are the same thing. I expect OU to dominate. I absolutely expect them to blow them out of the water. And you want to know why?
Why is that?
Because Jalen Hurts is pissed off.
And how does that play into
Jalen
the game?
Hurts, did you hear this man at his press conference yesterday? He said about 10 times that he just wants to be 1-0 this week. Mm-hmm. He's getting all these college football questions, college football playoff questions. Same thing with Lincoln Riley. They don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about this game this week. And I say he's upset. He's upset with his performance against K-State. The Sooners are upset about what they did against K-State. I think the defense responds. I think they can get in Brock Purdy's head like OSU did in the fourth quarter. I think they can finally get a turnover. You know, they haven't had a turnover in 5 straight games or whatever it is. So I expect Jalen Hurts to go off, and I expect OU to dominate. And also because it will be a night game, and Norman will be electric and excited for a chance to get back in the win column. I expect at least a 3-touchdown performance win. And
here's the thing. You mentioned the reason that you thought OU was going to dominate was because you feel like, in a few words, that Jalen Hurts was going to will his team to a victory.
Yes.
But Jalen Hurts doesn't play defense. He doesn't. So he doesn't have the ability to play both ways and get on the field and inspire this defense like he inspires that offense. Here's the thing. Defensively is the question. We already know that OU's offense still put up 41 points versus K-State. Did they have the outing that they want or expect to have? No, they didn't. But they still put up enough points to win the game. It was the defense that struggled. And he doesn't play on that side of the ball. You know who does? Kenneth Murray. And Kenneth Murray had a very, very bad game versus Kansas State. The reason I want to see if this defense can bounce back is because, was it a fluke? Or was it this defense kind of getting exploited, people finding a way to beat them, and it's the old OU defense?
You know what, though? Yes, Jalen Hurts doesn't play defense, but if he wills his team to 21 straight points, Oak coming out, and the defense just gets 3 and outs, or it's 21-3, or I just think that they can take momentum and end whatever Iowa State wants to come to Norman and do. I think Hurts is so good and the offense is so good that if they get up by 3 touchdowns, I think Iowa State just lets off.
And here's the thing, and I'm telling you this now, it's hard to get a Brock Purdy offense off the field on a 3 and out because he is efficient, he is talented, and he knows what he's doing behind center right there for the Cyclones. I'm telling you right now, this OU defense better have their head on straight, or Kolar, Purdy, Hall, Milton, all those guys for Iowa State and those athletes over there will put it on the Sooners.
Yeah, they will, and I think it's all about big plays, 3rd and 4th downs. Let's read this stat. Through the first 7 games, Sooners defense allowed 28% on 3rd down conversion rate. Versus K-State, 3rd and 4th down conversions combined, 50%. So it is all about stopping the big plays and the big moments for that defense. Kenneth Murray said the word he would use to describe the practices that this team went through the last week is urgency. They're feeling urgent. They just want to get back on the field. They want to prove that they were what they were the first 7 games. So I have no doubt in my mind that they can get back to that. And one thing working against you, if you think, I'm not saying you think Iowa State's going to win, but if people do, one thing working against you is that Oklahoma has won 17 straight November games. 17 straight. I don't see that stopping.
Records are meant to be broken, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't.
17 straight. Should be 18 on Saturday.
I still
Book
think
it,
this.
Mark it, write it down.
I believe this OU team will go out there and get a victory, especially mainly because it's going to be a 7 p.m. game, and that atmosphere is going to be electrifying, like you said, and it's going to be ruckus, and they're going to be, like you said, have a sense of urgency and want to be there more than Iowa State does. But I still think this defense, it's a question mark. And that question needs to be answered at 7 p.m. in Norman.
Lincoln Riley's only loss on Owen Field so far as Sooners head coach, 2017 against these Cyclones.
Yes, it was.
I don't see it repeating itself.
Tell Brock Purdy that.
I will. I'll tell him when I'm at the game because I'll be at the game on Saturday. Riley did say in his press conference yesterday, every loss at OU is shocking. The standard is win every game. They expect to win every game. They expect to win Big 12 championships, and they expect to get to the college football playoff. This team's mad. This team's upset of how they played. They're embarrassed of how they played, and I think it's I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a blowout. I could be wrong. You're the guy that played. I'm just a guy that watches with better hair. So I'm not sure.
You ain't touching these waves.
I'm not sure what's actually going to happen, but what I predict is that they're going to blow them out. Quickly, how do you think that loss did affect the college football landscape?
Oh, big time. Because the way you see it, it kind of opened the door for 2 SEC teams to get in there in the top 4. Now it's going to be interesting to see if OU, they've done it in the past. They've taken a loss and they've found a way to climb back in there. They needed some help, and they certainly need some help this year as well. But I wouldn't count them out just yet.
All right. I think the rankings are being released as we speak. So if we get that news, we'll bring it to you guys here. Switching our topic to TU.
Okay.
They lose to Tulane in New Orleans, Louisiana. They are now assured a losing season and assured that they cannot make a bowl game. And this team, their goal was to make a bowl game after 2 seasons where it was just bad football all around. Bad football all around. You get to this season, you're 2-2, and then the SMU game happens, and the triple overtime loss, and then Navy and Cincinnati, and then Memphis, and then Tulane. Not good. They're 2-7 right now, 5th straight loss. How do you put this season in any perspective? First, if you're looking at it straight on.
First of all, you look at the schedule and you know that they had a difficult road to overcome initially, especially with a young team, with a young offensive line. They had a defense that could play with anybody, especially in this conference. But with an offense that was shaky, it was an uphill battle throughout. Now you see a situation here where what do these guys truly, have to fight for now? Because before it was a bowl game. You need 6 wins. Mathematically, that's out of the question now. So what do you play for? You play for pride. You play for yourselves, and you play for the fact that you are a Division I college football player. When you step between those white lines, you're a competitor. And the fact of the matter is, every time you touch that field, you go out there to dominate your opponent and win the game. That's what these group of guys have to be playing for now, for one another and to win.
For sure. And when you take a look at the game itself, I think the big play was the fumble before the first half was over. That it just changed all momentum. It was 17-13 Tulane. Then they score on the fumble recovery. They go up 24-13 right before halftime. That's just another one of those plays that just devastates you. Coach Montgomery said post-game that during every one of these tough losses, there have been at least one game-changing play that just took momentum away. And I guess that's football or sports, but especially with the Golden Hurricane. And also, when you take a look at the offense, only scored touchdowns on 2 of 8 trips inside 20 yards. Not going to cut it.
Not going to
cut it. Sure, Jacob Rainey hits 4 for 4 field goals. He bounces back beautifully. His confidence was so broken, and then he makes 4 field goals against Tulane. That's good, but field goals aren't going to win you ball games when you're Tulane and scoring over 30. So the offense didn't play well. The defense didn't play well. Zach Smith was okay, but the offensive line got him sacked 4 times, hurried 3 times. So it's hard. And the fumble play right here is going to come up where people were saying that this shouldn't have been ruled a catch. And they may have a point. Montgomery wasn't going to comment on it post-game, though. So it's not working out right now.
It really isn't, and it's unfortunate because you could tell, most of these games that Tulsa has lost, they've been in.
Almost every one of them except the Navy game.
And that was a tough situation to be in. It's after that SMU game where you it's a situation when your legs are dead because you're playing in 3 overtimes and a plane ride and situation. Not to make excuses for these guys, but it was the case.
Yeah. And the triple option's so rare.
Yeah, and so all these games were close and they were in it, and it's unfortunately that they didn't come away with a lot of them. But the thing is, this is football.
Oh, that's it. This is football.
This is football. That's the punctuation.
That's literally it. This is football. This is what happens. My takeaway when we wrap up the season, whenever that is, when their last game is, it's going to be, and I'll say it now because I'm just going to beat the drum on this, is that SMU game is just too tough to come back from.
Yeah.
Too tough. Triple overtime. You were up against a ranked team. Game day was at SMU Memphis.
Yeah.
You should have beat both of them. And they wouldn't have had game day there if you beat both of them. Isn't that wild?
They had a chance.
They should have won at least the SMU game. But I'll say they should have won both of them.
This is football.
This is football. That's Deion Imade. He's a former player. I understand what he's saying. When we come back, we'll take a look at some NFL guys that are doing well and talk about some high school football next. Stay with us.
You are called to be bold, to live out loud, to make the most out of every moment. You share these moments with your friends and family, side by side, across town and across the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection, coverage, speed, service, the latest technology. These aren't options. They're not special offers. They are obligations to you. We believe in building a community, your community. Bravado Wireless.
You are called to be bold, to connect in your home, to your community, and to the world. From your land, we are Bravado Wireless. We are your high-speed internet provider based right here in eastern Oklahoma. With the latest technology, we offer coverage in more underserved areas than ever, with 4G LTE speeds and no installation needed. We're faster and more reliable than the competition, and at $59.99 a month, we're more affordable too. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection. You are called to be bold. You have a right to the best wireless service, high-speed internet, and customer service at a price you can feel good about. At Bravado Wireless, we know this, and that's why we put you and your community first. We are owned and operated right here in Eastern Oklahoma. We live where you live. We proudly connect you to your family, friends, and business partners wherever they are. Dallas, Seattle, Taipei, Toronto, and anywhere else in the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
All right, buddy, let's talk NFL. Who you got this week for your Oklahoma alumnus?
Well, for this week, I decided to take somebody who really helped me out this week personally. Tyler Lockett, the former Booker T. Washington standout, former Kansas State Wildcat himself, went off this week. And I want to thank him personally because 33.7 points on my fantasy team.
Got me 40.
40?
Yeah.
40. 33 for
40.
me, 40 for you. And how did he do it, you ask?
I ask.
13 catches, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also had 2 punt returns for 15 yards. That, my man, is a game. And I want to personally thank him for putting me over the board on fantasy.
He's obviously Russell Wilson's #1 target for sure.
Definitely a go-to.
They did sign Josh Gordon. I will not speak on that because he was a former Patriot.
He's salty?
And did not come through.
You salty?
A little salty, yes. But yeah, Lockett's dynamite. He's a good guy as well. Holds his camp here every summer. So nothing but class, and he's one of the best in the game.
So that's why he is my alumni shout-out.
Yeah, there you go. My guy, former Sooner, kind of a legend around these parts. Kind of a legend around the NFL as well. Adrian Peterson.
Yes.
He is still doing it at 34 years of age. This guy, obviously breaking all sorts of records, still just moved up in the all-time rushing record list a couple weeks ago. He's still getting carries for the Washington Redskins. 18 carries, 108 yards. Redskins lose 24-9. That's because they suck. But 101 yards in the first half. First time since 2012 he had 100-plus in a first half. And 2012 was, of course, when he won the MVP. He has 491 yards this season. The touchdowns haven't really come. But look at the strength he uses. And he's running so well still at 34. It's really impressive.
Still violently.
He's cashing in. He's getting the paycheck. He's playing football still. He's relevant. What else could you want?
You couldn't ask for a lot. I mean, it was a very impressive game from him. Also going against another ageless wonder.
See ya.
Look at that. Beast mode still. Going against another ageless wonder, Frank Gore on the other side for the Buffalo Bills. It was the first time, I believe, that 2 top 10 all-time leading rushers were going against each other in the same game. Frank Gore being number 4, Adrian Peterson being number 6. Very impressive by both of those guys being where they are in their careers and still doing it big.
For sure. Tyler Lockett, Adrian Peterson, our guys for this week. When we come back, we'll preview Bravado Wireless's Game of the Week. High school football coming up next.
Other wireless companies need 4-page brochures to explain plans that are too complicated and cost way too much. We are not like the others. We are Bravado Wireless. We offer 1 line of unlimited talk, text, and 4G LTE data for only $40 per month, with no minimum number of lines and no hidden fees. This is your year to be bold, connect fast at the best price. We live where you live, and we are proud to be a part of your community here in Eastern Oklahoma. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Hi, we're Bravado Wireless. You may have seen us at your local events and wondered just exactly what we do. We provide the highest quality cell phone service, specializing in outstanding coverage, both locally and nationwide. We're headquartered right here in Oklahoma, with multiple store locations in eastern Oklahoma. We provide the most affordable, unlimited talk, text, and data plans available. For a limited time, our unlimited plan is only $40 a month, and you can receive a free LG K30. Make sure you stop in now and enjoy our other amazing summer deals before they end. Visit Bravado Wireless store locations for all other details, or go to bravadowireless.com for more information. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
All right, sir. Did you enjoy your bye week from the game of the week? Bravado taking a week off there. You like that?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I did not.
Oh.
I missed Friday Night Lights, although it was a week break. I still missed it. I love being out there, watching the kids, the lights, the grass, the turf. I just can't get enough of it. So that was a tough one for me.
Well, you're going to get it this week.
I certainly am.
4A3, Wagner taking on Cleveland at Cleveland. Winnesher finishes second in the district and hosts a playoff spot. What do you expect out of this game?
Well, it's going to be a tough one. And Wagner, a top-notch program that's produced some great talent. Malcolm Rodriguez, Oklahoma State Cowboy, came from that school, played quarterback over there. And Cleveland is also another good program that puts out good athletes on the field. So I'm expecting a tough one, and I'm looking forward to being out there in Cleveland.
There you go. 7-2, 5-1 for Wagner, 6-3, 4-2 for Cleveland. All right, buddy. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. OU defensively, you gotta put yourself in a situation where people can talk good about you this week and not bad. OSU, get rested up, and TU, fight, fight, fight.
This is football.
There you go.
We're going to make a T-shirt.
Right there.
Courtesy of Deion Imade. That is former OSU Cowboy Deion Imade. I'm Jacob Toby. Thanks so much to our entire Bravado Wireless crew. Catch us next week. Same time, same place, here on the End Zone.